I never imagined I'd be sharing something like this, but here I am trying to make sense of what happened just a few days ago. I'm a 31-year-old software developer from Denver, and my life turned upside down right before what was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. I met my fiancée at a local coffee shop 4 years ago. She was working on her laptop, and I accidentally spilled my coffee near her table. Instead of getting angry, she helped me clean up, and we ended up talking for hours about music, movies, and our shared love for hiking in Rockies. After that day, we kept running into each other at the same coffee shop until I finally asked her out. Things moved quickly between us. Within a year, we had moved in together and adopted a cat we named Shadow. Life felt perfect. We'd go on weekend hikes, host game nights with friends, and spend quiet evenings cooking together. 3 years into our relationship, during a sunset hike at our favorite spot, I proposed. She said yes, and we started planning our future together. The wedding preparations took months. We chose a beautiful mountain lodge for the venue, picked our favorite local restaurants for catering, and invited around 120 guests. Her parents were incredibly generous, offering to cover most of the expenses, while my family helped with the planning and threw us an amazing engagement party. Both families got along great, which made everything seem even more perfect. Everything was set for the wedding this past weekend. Guests had flown in from across the country, staying at nearby hotels. The rehearsal dinner was planned for Friday evening, and everyone was excited about the celebration. Then, just 2 days before the wedding, my world fell apart. I was at home that Thursday, double-checking our honeymoon details when my friend Qley called. He works downtown and had seen my fiancée entering a hotel with another man. At first, I didn't want to believe it. I tried to convince myself it must be a relative or an old friend in town for the wedding. But Qley described how they were holding hands and kissing, definitely not the kind of kiss you'd give a relative or friend. I drove to the hotel, parked across the street, and waited. After about an hour, I saw them leave together. She was with a man I'd never seen before, and they were clearly more than friends. They were laughing, holding hands, and then they kissed right there on the sidewalk. I felt sick watching the woman I was supposed to marry in 2 days being so intimate with someone else. When she came home later that day, she acted like nothing was wrong. She talked about last-minute wedding details and how excited she was. I let her finish talking, then simply asked who he was. The color drained from her face. She tried denying it at first, but when I told her about Qley seeing them and that I'd watched them leave the hotel, she broke down. Through her tears, she explained that he was someone she knew from college. They had reconnected through social media a few months ago, and things had gotten complicated. She claimed it was just physical and that she still loved me and wanted to marry me. But I couldn't even look at her anymore. The trust was completely broken. I told her to leave and that the wedding was off. After she left, I sat in our apartment surrounded by wedding gifts and decorations, feeling numb. Then anger took over. I thought about all our guests, the money spent, and the future we'd planned. I started making calls, first to our parents, then to the wedding planner. I sent a message to all our guests explaining that the wedding was canceled because of her infidelity. Looking back, sending that mass message might have been impulsive, but I wanted everyone to know the truth. The next few days were complete chaos. Her parents kept calling and texting, switching between apologizing to me and defending their daughter. My family was furious. They felt betrayed after welcoming her into our lives for 4 years. Some of her friends started sending me angry messages, saying I shouldn't have told everyone about what she did. Others, including our mutual friends, sent messages supporting my decision and telling me how disappointed they were in her. The money situation became another headache. Her parents wanted their money back for the wedding costs, but most things couldn't be refunded anymore. There was talk about going to court, which only added more stress to everything. I moved back to my parents' house, taking Shadow with me. I couldn't stay in our apartment. There were too many memories there. I took some time off work to sort things out, and my parents were amazing through it all. Mom made sure I was eating, and Dad would just sit with me sometimes, not saying anything but just being there. After 2 weeks of ignoring her calls and messages, I agreed to meet her at a park near our old place. She looked different, tired, and messy, not like her usual self. As soon as she saw me, she started crying and apologizing. She told me more about the guy. They had met at a work conference a few months before the wedding. One thing led to another, and they started meeting secretly. She swore she had ended things with him and begged me to give her another chance. She suggested postponing the wedding and going to couples therapy. For a moment, seeing her cry made me want to comfort her like I used to. But then I remembered how she had kissed that guy outside the hotel, how easily she had lied to me while planning our wedding. I knew I could never trust her again. I told her I appreciated her apology, but couldn't forgive her. How could I ever believe anything she said? I'd always be wondering if she was really at work or if she was meeting someone else. That's no way to live. It was hard, but I told her goodbye and walked away. The financial mess with her parents finally got sorted after we met at a coffee shop downtown. It was awkward and tense, but we managed to work out a deal. I'd pay for my stuff, my suit, my groomsmen's suits, and a few other things. They'd handle her expenses and the shared costs like the venue and food. Nobody was really happy with this, but at least it was done. My friend Kai checked on me regularly, making sure I didn't sit at home all day feeling sorry for myself. He dragged me out to play basketball or just grab a beer. My other friends started including me in their plans too, trying to keep me busy. I'm lucky to have them. They listened when I needed to talk and distracted me when I needed to stop thinking. After taking some time off, I went back to work. Having something to focus on helped a lot. I threw myself into new projects and started staying late at the office sometimes, just to keep my mind off everything. My boss was understanding about the whole situation and even offered me a chance to work on a big new project that's coming up. A month has passed now, and things are slowly getting better. I'm still at my parents' house, but I've started looking for my own place. Shadow has been great company. It's nice having someone who just wants to cuddle and doesn't ask any questions about what happened. The situation with our friends is still complicated. Some people took sides, which I never wanted to happen. A few of her closest friends sent me nasty messages, saying I embarrassed her by telling everyone about the cheating. But most of our mutual friends have been supportive. Some even told me they've stopped talking to her because they can't respect what she did. There were so many small things to deal with that I never thought about: returning wedding gifts, canceling the honeymoon reservations, telling people who weren't on the guest list but knew about the wedding. Even little things like changing my emergency contact at work or removing her from my phone plan. It's crazy how many pieces of your life get tangled together after 4 years. I started seeing a therapist to help sort through everything. At first, I didn't think I needed it, but talking to someone who isn't involved in the situation has been helpful. They're helping me understand that it's okay to still feel hurt and angry, but also that I need to focus on moving forward. I've been thinking about what's next for me. Before all this happened, everything was about the wedding and our future together. Now I'm starting to make plans just for myself. I'm looking into some advanced programming courses I've been putting off. Maybe I'll finally take that solo trip to Japan I've always dreamed about. Looking back at how I handled everything, I know sending that mass message about her cheating wasn't the most mature thing to do. I was hurt and angry, and I acted on those emotions. But I don't completely regret it either. Maybe there was a better way to tell everyone, but I was just being human in a situation I never expected to be in. Some days are still hard. I'll see something that reminds me of her, or think about calling her to share some news before remembering I can't do that anymore. But these moments are getting less frequent. I'm starting to have days where I don't think about her at all. The hardest part now is dealing with dating questions. Everyone keeps asking when I'm going to get back out there, but I'm nowhere near ready for that. Right now, I'm focused on rebuilding my life on my own terms. I'm learning to be comfortable being by myself again. If there's one thing I've learned from all this, it's that you never really know what life is planned. 4 months ago, I thought I knew exactly how my future would look. Now everything's different, but maybe that's not entirely bad. I'm starting to see this as a chance to reshape my life the way I want it. To anyone going through something similar, it does get better. Not quickly, and not all at once, but it does get better. Focus on the people who support you, keep yourself busy, and remember that it's okay to not be okay sometimes. The future might not look like what you planned, but that doesn't mean it can't be good. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that subscribe button to help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with friends or family who might enjoy it too. Your support means a lot. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or story ideas, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.